Hello everyone, welcome to today's UPSC CSE strategy session. So today we'll focus on how you can prepare for the history section of your UPSC Civil Service Examination. So for that, first we need to understand what is actually the importance of this history topic. So I'll say that history is actually a core subject. History is actually a core subject. So core subjects are something which is having importance for both prelims point of view as well as mains point of view. Okay, we have subjects like ethics. Ethics are important only from the mains point of view and it has nothing to do with prelims. But history is not like that. History directly contributes to the GS paper 1 in both prelims as well as mains, and it's very much crucial for the other general studies papers as even essays also. Okay, so this property we call it as intersectionality. Intersectionality. Okay. So intersectionality means it is actually connected with other subjects in our syllabus. For example, take the case of polity. So in polity we have a topic like historical background. Polity we have a topic like historical background. Okay, historical background means what? You might be knowing that Indian Constitution was influenced by many of the past events and even the constitutional reforms during the British era. So that we call it as a historical background, and this is something which we will be studying in the modern Indian part of the Indian Constitution. And if you take some other subject, for example, take IR, international relations IR. So to purely understand this IR, you need a proper background of this world history. You need a proper background of this world history. World history, especially this world history is the key to understanding this dynamics of global relation, especially it was reformed through this world wars, Cold War, and even the rise of the global powers, especially this USSR as well as USA. So all these things are actually the backbone of this international relation. And if you take another topic like another subject like Indian society, take Indian society. Indian society means we need to understand how the social structure of India, the present social structure has been reformed, right? So for that also you need to understand that what is the caste system, what are the reforms. So here also history gives a context to the present social structure. Okay, so now let's move on to what UPSC has given in their preliminary, the syllabus of their preliminary examination. Okay, so here all the subjects are given here. Current events are there, science is there, world geography is there. So here you can see that the second one, this is actually the syllabus of history. Okay, this is actually the syllabus of history. Here you can see that what is written there: history of India and Indian national movement. History of India and Indian national movement. It's just mentioned history of India only. History of India without any other information. Without any other information. So that sounds very broad, right? So history of India could include anything. Anything means you can start from even Stone Age also. Starting from Stone Age to even post-independence India also. Okay, maybe what happened last week also. That is also part of history of India only. So it is essential to know where to focus and what to study. For that we have to divide the syllabus. Definitely we have to divide the syllabus. So we can divide based on the timelines. For example, take ancient India. Take ancient India or ancient history. Okay, so ancient history means it will be covering topics like Stone Age or prehistoric era will be there, and what happened after that, like Indus Valley civilization will be there, and some of the important dynasties, which early powerful dynasties which ruled over that area, like Mahajanapadas will be there, Mauryans will be there, Guptas will be there, and also some religious movements which started during that, like Buddhism will be there, Jainism will be there. Okay, so after that again we can, based on the timeline, we can again divide it into medieval India. We can divide it into medieval India or medieval history. Okay, medieval history is often associated with the rise of Islamic rule in India. For example, it started with the Delhi Sultanate, and after that the Mughal Empire. What happened to the Mughal Empire, or maybe some other things will also there. Like what happened in the southern part of India, like Vijayanagara kingdom, and all these things will be coming in the medieval Indian part of Indian history. Okay, so after that again we can divide it into modern India. After that again we can divide it into modern India. Okay, so what do you mean by modern India? Again, this is mentioned here, Indian national movement. So basically modern India means it will be coming in the Indian national movement itself. So here the British Raj will be coming, international movement, how it has evolved, what were the phases, all these things will be coming here, okay, who are the leaders, like Gandhian phase will be there, all these things will be coming, okay. So this is how we can actually divide history based on the timeline. But one more area we have to consider, even though it is not explicitly mentioned here, we have to consider arts and culture also. We have to consider art and culture also, okay. Art and culture is nowhere it is mentioned about art and culture. Here it is history of Indian national movement only, okay, but nowhere it is mentioned that it is art and culture, okay. So now even though art and culture is part of the syllabus, one thing which you have to understand is it is not a standalone subject. It is not like, okay, we have history, we have geography, another subject is art and culture. So like that, it's not a standalone subject. Most of the topics in this area are actually embedded into especially ancient India as well as medieval India, okay. So you need to have a basic understanding of what is this ancient Indian, what is this medieval India to understand this particular subject, okay. By that, what I meant is you cannot skip ancient and medieval India and directly go to art and culture. Okay, let me study what were the architectural features of Akbar, what were the architectural features of this Delhi Sultanate, okay. Without knowing the administration, without knowing the timeline, it will be really difficult to study all these things, okay. So don't skip ancient and medieval India and directly go to art and culture, because it will be mostly dealing with the architecture, sculptures, coinage of these particular periods only, okay. But still it is also having some other areas, standalone areas are also there, like dance forms will be there, puppetry will be there, okay. So these areas, the influence of ancient as well as medieval is little less, but still it is art and culture is something which is embedded in this ancient as well as medieval India only, okay. Now you go to the mains paper. Let's go to the mains paper. This is actually the mains paper. So this is general studies 1, okay, GS1 mains paper. So now here you can see that it is much more well defined. For prelims syllabus, it was like history of India and Indian national movement only, but here it is not the case. Here it is much more well defined, okay. So here it is written Indian culture. Here it is written Indian culture, and again they have elaborated it. It will cover the salient aspects of art forms, literature and architecture. So what all things we have to study? We have to study the art forms, we have to study the literature, we have to study the architecture, and again timeline is also given, ancient and to modern times. So we know what is ancient, okay. We have already defined what is ancient. Now we have already defined what is modern, okay. So we have to study art forms of ancient, literature of ancient, architecture of ancient, again the same thing only, art forms of modern, ancient to modern, okay. So ancient, medieval and modern, all these things will be there, art forms, literature and architecture will be there. But since this is UPSC, we have to focus on more areas also, like coinage, all these things also we have to focus on, okay. UNESCO World Heritage Sites will be coming, that areas will also be there. After that, the second area is modern Indian history. Modern Indian history from about the middle of 18th century. From about the middle of 18th century. Here also the timeline is clearly given, mid of 18th century, somewhere around 1750s we have to say, and until present, okay. It's not like until freedom struggle, it's not like until the what India got independence, it is until present only. Here also they have clearly mentioned what all things we have to study. We have to study the significant events, what all things happen, important events which all things happen. Obviously in that itself personalities will be coming, like Mahatma Gandhi will be coming, Nehru will be coming, Subhash Chandra Bose will be coming, other personalities will be coming, and also issues will also be there, like tribal issues will be there, like peasant issues will be there, like taxation issues will be there. So that areas also we have to study. So here it is little more well defined. Again in modern India itself, they have again given like freedom struggle. It's what are the various stages of freedom struggle. Like in the initial phase, when the Britishers came to India, we had a different set of problems. So after that, when Britishers slowly increased their imperialism, we had a different set of problems. So after that also, I mean, like during the freedom struggle, we had a different set of problems, and we dealt it in a different way only. Like Gandhian phase was there, and we had this revolutionary phase was there, extremist phase was there. So like that way also, we have different stages in this freedom struggle, and what are the important contributors and their contributions also we have to study, okay. Who all are the important contributors, like Nehru will be there, Bose will be there, what are the contributions and what all contributions they did to the country, okay. So that is also there. So after that we have post-independence consolidation. So we already got freedom, 1947 we already got freedom. So after that what happened? Post-independence consolidation and reorganization within the country, okay. So that also we have to study. Okay. So, this also there is no particular end timeline is given. For example, it can even be till 2025, that also we can include here. Okay. Post independence consolidation means. After that again it is an entirely different area. So, this is basically we can shorten it and call it as world history. We can call it as world history. Okay. World history, history of the world. Again here also they have given the timeline 18th century, include events from 18th century, and here also in 18th century what all things happened. Okay. After 18th century what all things happened, like industrial revolution happened, world war happened, redrawal of national boundaries happened, colonialization happened, decolonialization happened, political philosophies also. Again this is a little more overlapping with this political science, optional public administration and all, but still we do not have to go much deeper into this. Okay. So, here we have to deal it in a general studies way only, okay, not like an optional. Even though we are mentioning all these things, it is not like how you study the history optional or any other optional subject. Here we have to be very specific regarding, just know what all things are there and no need to go deeper into this. Okay. Colonialization, decolonialization, and philosophies are like communalism, communism, capitalism, socialism, their forms and effects on the society. Okay. So, like that way you have to focus on this world history part also. Okay. So, these are the areas we can write it like this is art and culture, this is art and culture. Okay. Here it is modern Indian history will be there. Okay. So, basically we can combine this together and we can write it modern India, we can write it modern India. Again here we have this is post independence or postmodern or post independence era. Okay. So, after that again this is world history, this is world history. Okay. So, these are the ways in which we can we can divide this topic art and culture, modern India, post independence and world history. Okay. All right. So, now let us see how you have to approach this history, whether it be ancient or whether it be medieval or whether it be modern history. There are some common things which you have to keep in your mind while studying the entire history topic. Okay. All right. So, while studying history, first what you need to understand is history is not about mugging up the fact, just memorizing the, it is not about memorizing the fact. Here you have to focus on the concepts. Okay. So, even though facts are there, you have to focus on the concept. You have to focus on this should be the focus area, but without facts we cannot study history. Okay. Obviously facts are needed, but your focus area should be on understanding the concept behind the events or behind the movements. Do not just memorize fact, just do not just memorize dates and names. Ask yourself why an event has happened. Okay. So, concepts means why an event has happened. Okay. It is not about modern India or any other part. For example, like why Buddhism evolved. Okay. Why Buddhism evolved. I am not talking regarding the mains perspective, I am talking regarding the in a comprehensive way, whether it be for prelims or whether it be for mains only. You have to ask why this particular event has happened, why Buddhism happened, why Gandhi, why revolutionary terrorism happened in India. Okay. So, what was the reason why Gandhi chose a non-violent path. Okay. So, like that way you have to ask why. Okay. And what is actually the significance of that, that is also very much important. Like I have said, history is a topic which is having intersectionality. Okay. So, if you are studying it like if you are thorough with the concepts, then you can directly use it for ethics paper, you can give examples for your ethics paper, you can use it in your polity paper for the mains examinations, or maybe for prelims also. Nowadays this conceptual part is coming in this polity prelims. Okay. So, that also it will be easy for you. Okay. All right. So, now we understood how you have to approach this paper, what is the significance of this paper. Now, from where you have to study this topic. Okay. So, that is also very much important. So, initially you have to start with NCERTs only. Initially you have to start with NCERTs. By NCERTs, I mean NCERTs from 6th standard onwards, 6th standard to 12th standard. 6th standard to 12th standard. So, why I am saying you should start with NCERTs, because these books are written for school students only. So, obviously you cannot directly flood it with Gandhian philosophy, you cannot directly flood it with communism or that kind of things. It has to be concise, it has to be given in a simplified way. You will be from different backgrounds, like you will be from a medical background, you will be from a engineering background, you will be from some other background. Okay. So, when you are directly going with the standard books means it will be they will not be sometimes they will not be starting from the basics, okay. Sometimes that book will be for general reading, so it will be targeted for that kind of audience only, okay. So at that time this NCERTs will be helpful, okay. NCERTs will be helpful, and you have to start from 6th to 12th standard NCERTs only. So once you are comfortable with this, almost every topic will be covered in the 6th to 12th NCERT. Sometimes you have to look for the old NCERTs also, okay. Alright, so after this you can go with the, once you are comfortable with the basics, you can move on to this standard books. But here also one important challenge is there. So if you take a subject like polity, you have books, standard books are there. Sometimes it's known as the Bible of polity is Lakshmikant, okay. So but here that is not possible. So here we don't have a single book which will be covering, there are books but still we don't have standard books which will be covering the entire timeline from ancient, medieval, modern, postmodern, and even art and culture also. So we have different books are there, standard book, we have different standard books are there, okay. I'll show you some of the recommended standard books. So this one for ancient India, you can use this book, India's Ancient Past. It was written by R.S. Sharma, okay. So R.S. Sharma is actually the one who has written the old NCERT book. So obviously that will be more concise as well as simplified version. For medieval India, you can go with this book. It is Satish Chandra. Again, Satish Chandra has also written this old NCERT book, okay. So that is also there. And for modern India, which is very much important, Bipin Chandra is a very good book. Bipin Chandra, it will be covering all the freedom struggle. And for Bipin Chandra's freedom struggle, an entirely different book is also there, but this will be enough, okay, for general reading. So after that, this is Grey Gospels. This was written by me only. So here I have written the timeline starting from partition of India, till 2023 itself. It's a little concise book only, mostly for this competitive examinations. So after that, again I have written another book, that is Indian Art and Culture. Again here also I have done it in a timeline base only, like what were the arts, what were the craft, what were the puppetry of these timelines, all these things will be there, and other standalone topics also I have covered in there, okay. So these are some of the suggestions which I can give. Definitely there are many other books are also, like Nitin Singhania for art and culture is there, even post-independence India also many other books are there, even ancient India also, like Romila Thapar's book and all is there, okay. So like that way it depends on you only, okay. So these are some of the recommendations which I can given in this regard, okay. All right. So now you know what is the importance of history, from where to study history. So next, another important thing is you have to practice. You have, ultimately your aim is to crack this examination only. So ultimately you need to understand that PYQs are very much important, okay. You need to understand how UPSC is asking all these questions, okay. What is actually the trend, what is actually the change in this trend. So that is also very much important. You will be able to understand the exam pattern, okay. For example, like ancient India and all, sometimes after 2017 and all, you can see that more factual part is coming, and some of the important terms are also being used, like during medieval India and all, we will be using some terms for describing some particular thing. So that is also coming into prominence, okay. So for that, PYQs will be helpful. Previous year questions, UPSC's previous year question, not for any other examination, but UPSC's previous year questions will be very much important, okay. All right, so that's it. So let's wrap up. So I'll give you some quick tips also, which you have to keep in mind while studying history. So while studying history, timelines are very much important, okay. So you have to make timelines. You have to make timelines, okay. It will be starting like from ancient to modern, or maybe I'll take postmodern itself. Okay. So here you can divide it. Ancient itself you can divide it like prehistory, Stone Age, Indus Valley civilization. So like that we can divide. Okay. Here also again further you can divide. Okay. Prehistory itself you can divide it into like Chalcolithic era, Paleolithic era, Neolithic era. So like that we can divide. So these timelines are very much important for your UPSC preparation. So it will give you a visualization regarding how these events have happened. Okay. And also when you are making notes, try to make it very concise. Okay. Because sometimes what people used to do is they will be copying the exact textbook itself. They will be copying the exact textbook itself, or maybe when you are highlighting it also, they will be highlighting the every line. Okay. If you are doing like that, then what is the point of you making these notes? Okay. You again have to read the entire content. So that should not happen. Okay. And I have already mentioned regarding PYQs. PYQs are very much important to understand how UPSC thinks from their point of view. So that is important. But other than that, you can go with practice questions also. There are n number of mock tests. There are n number of mock tests which are available in the market. So you can go with practice questions. It will give you more speed as well as accuracy will be there. Okay. Speed and accuracy will be both PYQs as well as, you can combine these one, PYQs as well as practice questions you can use. Okay. And also I have already mentioned it, like it's not about memorizing, it's not just about memorizing. You need to understand some of the facts and all, some of the facts, some of the leaders and all, but it's not about memorizing alone, but it's about understanding the concept, So that is very much important regarding this. Okay. All right. So these are some of the things which you can follow. So to finally summarize, history when approached strategically can make a very big difference in your preparation, not just in your preparation alone, but in your exam also. Like we have modern history, we have ancient history, we have medieval history, we have an art and culture, many important subjects are coming. So obviously the quantum of questions will also be high. Okay. All right. So what you have to do is prepare, stay consistent and keep revising. So you have to remember that it's not just about facts, it's about understanding the story. You can study history like a story only. So after the session, what we'll be doing, we'll be starting the classes based on NCERTs. Okay. NCERTs I already mentioned, like NCERTs are the foundational document for every UPSC aspirant. So we have taken the NCERTs and we have made it little more concise and little more easy for you to understand. Okay. So we are starting an NCERT course which will be available in your Narayana IAS application. Okay. So from there we will be starting modern history, we will have ancient history, we will have art and culture, and we will have medieval history also. Okay. All right. So that's it for today. See you there. Thank you.